Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish.
So let's talk about what wisdom is. Let's talk about the what ifs of wisdom, shall we? This is important because there's so much stuff on the internet that says how to become wise, 10 steps, 5 steps, 11 steps. It just depends on what it is that you're looking. But I haven't seen anything that says how to decide to become wise. Because wisdom to me, it's like motivation. It doesn't just happen. Wisdom comes because we're inviting it in. There's an invitation there. There's an awareness that wisdom is available to all as long as we have made a decision to invite it in. So one of the things that I think is important is that we make a definition first of what the heck wisdom is. So here you go. It's the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment of being wise. So how do we become wise? Well, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to give you some things first of all, but and that's when we don't become who we are supposed to be because we have just dug our heels in. You know about that, right? We've all done it. We've all done it. I mean, no one is immune to that. And we just don't see it until we make a different decision that we're going to bring in the things that we want. I want to be thought of as wise, don't you? I want my children to ask me for advice, and they have. And that's like gold, I was looking on my Facebook, your Facebook, when you first look on it, it says, 5 years ago, here's your memories. And one of my memories was from 4 years ago about the extreme privilege of having a child call you for advice. And I don't even remember what it was. And I looked at it, I was like, what did they ask me? I don't remember. But that's a wonderful place, when you are in that place as a woman, as a mother, and your child asks you for advice, your grown child, let me just put it to you that way. That makes my heart sing. So that's just everything. So let's go into the weeds then about wisdom and how it all just starts to light up. And I've got quite a few things. It might seem a little scattered, but you need to bring in the things that you can use and you can apply. And the first thing is you got to start with your thinking, right? Of course you do. If we are looking at our thinking as just a non sequitur, then we're not looking at the full scope of how it is that we go out there to attain this kind of wisdom. What if wisdom were something that we made a decision for instead of something that just happened because we were this magical guru sitting on top of a mountain? We're not. We're women doing work in this world and raising families and bringing home the bacon and doing all the things that we can. The wisdom comes when we've made a decision that we choose to be wise women. That's when it starts to come because it starts to show up because we are looking for that evidence to support it. So that's really important, I think. And then the second part of that is that we have to expand our thinking. This is where we get out of ourselves a little bit. It's not just about you as the showing. It is all about being open to others in this world. And have you noticed how many opinions there are out there? As many as belly buttons as there are. There's lots of opinions out there. And I'm not saying embrace it all. Of course not. What I'm saying, though, is that when we listen wholeheartedly and we're open to listening and being loving and caring about other people, wisdom just shows up. It does. It shows up because you're allowing for others. It's not just about you. Also, we have an eye toward the future. That's a big one. So we're looking at the future, not just today, but we're not living in the future or the past, but we're looking toward the future. That in the Proverbs 31 woman talks about that, how she has an eye toward the future. She's thinking toward the future, saving and doing things for the future. The other thing is they use your past, but you don't dwell on it. This is our experience file things. I love that part because it gives us an opportunity to learn from our mistakes and not live them over and over again like Groundhog Day. The other thing is the what's next thing. We think about what's next. That's how I do my stuff every day. I'm like, okay, I did that. So what's next? What's next? What's next? When I do that, I can get a rhythm going. When I do that, I can get more done. When I do that, I see things beyond the here and now. I see things a little bit more into the future. I can see the big picture of building. I know you feel the same way. It just makes such a difference, a whole difference in the world. And who you are, why you're here, and what your purpose is, all of that is part of what a wise woman dwells on, doesn't she? She dwells on that because she is looking to become ultimately aligned with God and his purpose for our lives. We all have a unique way in which we're going to show up and do that. It's up to us to figure out what it is. And it's always helping someone else. Have you noticed that? It's helping others. It's helping them to become the best that they can be. How wonderful the world would be if all the wise women in the world stepped into that purpose. To me, that's the divine alignment assignment that we all get. So when we decide to become wise, we understand our own limitations. That's another thing that happens. We have limitations. Duh, right? Some people can't spell well. Some people can't decorate well. We have people that we can go to. We have, corrections that we can put in, spell check on our computers. If you don't know how to decorate, you can find out online, everything you can find out online. When we're limited, we can find other people who have a lot more wisdom in that particular area. They have expertise. They have more things than we do. But know-it-alls need not apply. Know-it-allness, it's a cutoff. When you know everything, what's the point of asking another soul? When you know everything and it's always going to be like that, and you're digging your heels in, and you're saying, I'm arrogant, I know everything, I don't need help, I'm going to do things my way. It doesn't matter if the evidence is not supporting this. It's just my thoughts. It's my thing, and it's the way it's going to be. I've seen this a lot, and I've also seen it take down people a lot, especially in my little tiny world of, like in the wellness world. I've seen this happen a lot where people have just been taken down by digging their heels in, by being unteachable, unreachable, unwilling. All of that does not point toward wisdom. It points toward arrogance. What's the point in that? When we do all that kind of stuff, we're saying we're just not willing. We're not open to others. It's all about us. That's sad. And the next thing is that wisdom shifts us from know-it-allness to perpetual students, which I think is one of the most brilliant things ever. Always being a student means we're always learning. Always learning means that we understand there's a vast world out there. There's a vastness out there. We can become wise by becoming students. And you know what? There is an innocence about that. There's an actual excitement about that. There is a real grasp on how wonderful life can be. There's other cultures out there. There's other ways of doing things. There's other ways of eating food. There's other ways of celebrating holidays. There's other holidays to celebrate. There's other people out there. How wise is it for us to take a look at what the culture offers? The different cultures offer, the different people offer. How fun is that we get to do that? And when we get to do that and expand our understanding and expand our thinking, I believe wisdom starts to visit. It starts to visit because our empathy grows. If our empathy grows, that's wisdom right there. That is wisdom right there. It also creates willingness. What you've heard me say this about 3,000 times, and that is that little hinges swing. I can't fix this, you guys. Willingness that little hinges swing big doors, right? They do. Little hinges swing big doors. That's what willingness is. Willingness opens the door to wisdom, to be willing to just say, well, what about this? I'm not asking you to go change change everything up. I'm just asking you to open your eyes, open your hearts to other things, other people, other ideas, because that's how you build wisdom. You can't build wisdom just by staying in this one little itty bitty place. So if I decide to become a wise woman, what am I going to do? I'm going to declare it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, you know what? I am a wise woman. Starting today, I am a wise woman because one, I will listen more. Have you noticed that know-it-alls will oftentimes, they'll answer before even listening to the whole thing? Know-it-alls jump in. Know-it-alls have an answer to everything. Know-it-alls are online trolling. They know everything about vaccines. They know everything about the coronavirus. They know everything about everything. Political, this, that, and the other thing. Forget about their confirmation bias, but they've got their things in a row and that's it. Done. That's not wise. What that is saying, I'm closed-minded, I have my own ideas, it's confirmation bias all the way, and I'm going to stay right there. I am unwilling to see this or look at it or expand the borders of my heart. Wise women don't do that. Wise women make a decision to be wise. It means that they're open to love, open to care, open to others. And it doesn't always look the way we think it's going to. I'll take more action and follow the directions wholeheartedly. You know what? I say this because the women that I know who have taken action in the hot melt sprint, followed the directions, and followed the path are the ones with the most tremendous results. They're the ones like Jocelyn saying, I've made it to my goal. They're the ones like Sarah saying, yeah, 46, 7, 8, I don't even know how many pounds anymore. All of these ladies, they're lining up with their wisdom. Why? They followed the directions. They followed a path on something that they didn't know much about, but they just knew what they wanted to get out of it. And when we do that, when we decide, you know what, I don't know a whole lot about this, but apparently, and I'm not sitting here trying to blow my own horn, y'all, but I do know a little something about this. I put it together based on science. So, I ask you, can you just follow the directions? And it's not because of, if you don't follow the directions or you fudge a little bit or whatever it is that you won't get results. I'm just asking that you be wise and just follow the directions. Just do it. Just do it. There's how many different things can you find that's just like this, that where you say, if you follow the directions exactly, you're going to get it. When you sit down to do a puzzle and you follow the directions from the puzzle, you know how the directions are, you know that you need to put those edges in first so you start filling it all in. That's exactly what the sprint is. It's fill in, let's get those edges built. When we get the edges built, we understand the principles and the concepts. We have a framework. That's what wisdom is. Wisdom is a framework for us to lead our lives in a way that makes sense, in a way that expands the borders of our heart, yes, but also expands our knowledge into the different things that we need to do, things that we might not have ever looked at. So, a lot of something, Liam. Thank you so much. 3 little hinges open big doors. Look at you all. I love it. And Lucy just said, and no empathy equals being totally alone. That's 100% correct. 100%. We also know, number 3, is that you'll stop focusing on the problems and complaining about it. Instead, focus on the solutions. That's just, every time we do that, energy flows where our focus goes. Energy flows. Do you want your energy going into the place of negativity? Is there wisdom in that? Absolutely not. Wisdom is in getting that energy and multiplying it. And we do it when we're in problem-solving mode. We do it when we're coming from a place of love. We do it when we're in the place of an expanded border of our hearts. We do it when we're in the place of empathy. Wisdom just comes. That's where it lives. That's where it lives, not in this negative place, not in this I just can't get up off the couch thing, not in this just, well, maybe just this once I'm going to following the directions. The wisdom is following the love. The wisdom is in being a woman who holds her arms open for others. that's where we're going to find the wisdom. 100%, that's where we're going to find the wisdom. Number 4 is, we leave the past behind. Leaving the past behind where it belongs is wise, because the past will not serve us. There's one teensy-weensy exception, and let you guess what that is. It's the experience file. It's the lesson that we learned from the experience. Amen. And that's it. The rest of it gets left behind because it doesn't serve. It holds us back. There's no wisdom there. The wisdom is in the lesson and moving forward. And we understand that, because when we leave the past behind, we can stay in the gift of today with an eye toward the future for tomorrow. And how much better does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? It makes you feel, I'm going to just, from personal experience, it makes me feel grounded. It makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel like I have nothing to fear, because I have things in proper perspective. We all go off the rails sometimes, just like, whoa, but back then, and what about this? And yeah, but we all do it. But when we say, oh, there it goes, leave that behind, go this way instead, everything starts to fall into place, and it feels so much better. Number 5 is, I'll take my time reacting so that I react in love instead of like a 5-alarm fire. Overreactiveness not only disrupts your body's chemistry, throws your nervous system off, and leaves you in high cortisol, high stress, and just wrecks your body seriously, and puts you into an inflammatory response. Not only that, but nobody wants to be around Miss Highly Reactive. Oh no, everything, the world it's henny penny and the sky is falling. No one wants to be around that. When we make a decision that it's just not wise to do that anymore, and just say, you know what, I'm going to allow myself to go through and process this in this great big brain that God gave me, then we find ourselves buttoning our lips and allowing for the process. Even saying, like, for example, the other day, I had to say, this is just like, I need a minute so that I don't react. I need a minute. I've said that. I said it to sweet Mark. Everything's not perfect for us, but I will tell you, we have a really good relationship, because that's one of the things that we do. We don't consider it at all a good thing. We say, I need a minute. I need to go process this. I need to not say something because I care about you that much. What if we all did that? That to me is the hallmark of wisdom right there. And it's one thing that can set your relationship back on track when we do this. I need a moment. Then you don't react, and you don't regret what you say later. It's big time. It's huge. And it's something that we all need to be thinking about. The next thing is number 6. I'll use the tools in my toolbox and build my customized bridge daily. I'll point to Sarah again. One of the things that she does, she's done the Sprint Plus, and there's a commitment contract that comes with that. And in the commitment contract, it's pretty like, it's like makes your eyes water reading it, because it's like getting into the whole thing of what it is to get off the carousel of crazy and be committed to your own good, right? And in it, she signs it. She's laminated it and signing it every single day, because she's recommitting herself to this. This is what this is. That's a tool. Every single day when you decide and you get up and you're making your Target Trifecta smoothie, you are using one of the tools in your toolbox to build your customized bridge to vibrancy. And vibrancy is the journey. That's number 7, is that we love the journey. When we love the journey, we're loving our lives, and we're loving and creating our own vibrancy. That's wisdom right there. That's wisdom all the way. And we get to do this. This is our great privilege. This is the way in which we expand our whole entire lives, not only loving others and not only being, I would say just better people, more loving, but it's also in a way that it helps us to live our very best lives. We actually become the women that we think we are because we're actually doing these things. We're not so dug in. When we get dug in, we get lost because now there's nowhere to go. It's only this one way. It's a tiny, tiny corner. And you know what? This world isn't, there's no corners in this world. It's all round. You approve of the commitment contract. Sarah's an attorney. I love it. The thing is that we have to look at is that wisdom always drops clues. Always, 100% of the time, it drops clues. When you're wise, you start seeing yourself. All of a sudden, you're not opening your mouth and going rah, 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 all the time. The complaining stops. You start to see yourself as, okay, this. So, my husband just dropped a bomb, but I'm going to back off for a minute and just, I need to process this. And it just makes you understand, helps you to understand others. You don't have to agree with them, but you can be understanding and loving. That's part of what wisdom is. And all of this helps us to circle the wagons and helps us to stand for what's right. Not just what's right, but what's beautiful and right. And we become women who embrace our own intuition and knowing. And it's our higher selves. It's our beautiful self. And all of this makes for such a rich life, for such a lovely life, a life that's well worth living, a life that is indeed vibrant. That's what I want for you. I want you to have all the vibrancy that you could possibly grab and bring into your world, because I know something that when you bring it in, you're going to let it go too. And you know what? That's how it multiplies. That's the multiplier right there. We don't just hold on to it. We give it back out. And I know you've got the ability to do that because you're wise women. And thanks for showing up, by the way. To say I appreciate you isn't big enough. To say I appreciate you and love you, that's better. You're the best. Thanks for sharing these videos, by the way. Thanks for sharing any of our posts or whatever. And if you need something from us, for heaven's sakes, let us know. Peace be with you. I will see you tomorrow.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.